Hi everyone. So Raimi had asked that we jump on, maybe live. Unfortunately, I didn't get my talk recorded or one that I could get uploaded. So I'm just going to go live for you guys, go over my speech a little bit, or my talk. And I had some activities and whatnot going on, but I'll kind of skip over those. So we're just going to be a rough draft of kind of what I talked about, so that you guys can have it. And I'm going to wait. Hi, Raimi. Yeah, sure, no problem. I'm going to wait for just a second, see if anybody else wants to pop on. I don't know about where y'all are today, but it is cold here in Midland, Texas today. It was like 29 degrees this morning when I took my kids to work. Kids to school. So, anyways, I did have some activities and whatnot, but I'm just gonna kind of skim over and talk to you guys. So, and if you watch the replay, do hashtag replay. I'm not sure if you'll be able to share because this is in a group, but I know, me too, so slow. So anyways, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. It is February 27th, and this was my Fear Up, Tear Up, Gear Up talk from World Tour 2020. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Phillips, and I am the director of Team Southern Syntastics, and I'm from Midland, Texas. I have been a Scentsy consultant now for 9 years. Actually, February was my Scentiversary, February 1st. I signed up to get that double kit, so awesome. Okay, Raimi, I will do that. I'm not sure, but I'll try to hit save. I don't know how to do all that. Okay, so anyways, I have been with my husband for 14 years. We've been married for 8, and we have 4 incredible children. They range in age from 7 to 11 months, so they're all very young, and they keep me very busy, along with my Scentsy business. But today I'm going to talk about personal development and working on you. And you is always the most important in your business. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to work on you before anything else can be achieved. I'm going to talk about maybe recognizing some of those fears that might be holding you back in your business. We're going to talk about some tools and maybe some advice for gearing up when the going gets tough. So what do you do when you encounter a challenge? Do you freeze up in fear? Do you panic and let that fear drive you? Or do you have an emotional breakdown? I know I do. I'm an emotional person. And so I always let my emotions get the best of me sometimes. Are you that type of person that you grasp what you need, you get those tools, and you move forward immediately? There's all different types of people when it comes to recognizing your fears. What I had everybody doing at this point was writing down their biggest fear in their business today. So if you're watching and you want to go along, write down your biggest fear. So let me just tell you, I've been through ups and downs in my business from the very start of not even knowing the potential that Scentsy actually had for me. From growing my team to losing my team to an unhappy customer and unhappy team members. I know those fears of starting out and people thinking that your business is a phony. I know those fears of asking people to join your team, because those are all very legitimate fears. When I first started, I joined to buy for myself. I would place a $150 order every 3 months. Back then it was a $150 order. So, but things change. And I would make my $150 order, no big deal. I didn't even know what Sensational Start was. So I didn't even know that Scentsy offered incentives. I didn't know any of that, okay? So I didn't even really know how to sign on to my own workstation. I would make my own personal $150 orders every 3 months from my website. So I know it's totally embarrassing, but my sponsor actually terminated a few months after I joined. So I didn't really have any leadership until my director contacted me and I rolled up underneath her. She really, really opened my eyes to Scentsy. And my goals actually started after my very first Cincy family reunion in 2015, which I have to tell you, she had to beg me to go to. And yes, y'all, I signed up in 2011, and I didn't go or know anything about Cincy until 2015. I had no idea the potential that this business could have for me. So she opened my eyes. When I went, if you haven't gone to a Cincy family reunion, go. Because it's true what they say. If you show up, you go up. You drink that Cincy Kool-Aid, and it is fantastic, okay? So just go to all of these things, world tours, all the things, okay? So after reunion, I set my goals, but then came those fears, how will I do this? Can I do this? Am I good enough to do this? Fear can actually paralyze our actions, okay? So fear is like the single biggest thing that can set us back or hold us back, because it can literally freeze our mental state, our actions, and everything. But where does that fear come from? It comes from us. It comes from us and inside, from our own minds and our own imaginations. But it's important to remember that being human beings, since all of our fears are self-created, and we scare ourselves into imagining those negative incomes, we also have the power to overcome those. We also have the power to overcome our mental state and to really focus on not the negative, but the positive. So if you can get into that mental state, you can overcome those fears. Instead of allowing yourself to imagine the worst case scenario, consciously make that decision to visualize a positive scenario. Overcoming your fears is going to be an essential step in achieving your goals. I want to tell y'all about a recent fear that I had in my business and how I overcame it. I became a director 3 years ago in October during the big holiday selling season. Everybody's on a Cincy high, and it's our big time of the year. And I had only a team of 24 people at that time. I was over the moon, and I was excited. I was on this Cincy high, okay? But then after that season, the season was over, and January hit, and my team started to dwindle. I did everything. I'm telling you, I did incentives, I made personal phone calls, I did team meetings, I did Zoom meetings, and most of my team is actually not in Texas with me. So I used to live in Virginia, so I have a lot of team members that are not here physically for me to visit with. So I was doing as much as I possibly could to help them. I was literally invisible. I felt invisible. Nobody was listening, nobody was caring, nobody was doing anything. And there was even a new catalog coming out. I could not get anybody to work their business. And I was getting really frustrated, and my team dwindled from 24 to 10. And only 5 of those were in my front line, were my direct team members. And at that point, I wanted to quit. I was like, what is the point? I worked so hard for all of that, and now I felt like I had nothing. And I cried and I cried. I told you I'm an emotional person. I cried and I cried and I cried. My husband and my family, they thought I was a mental case. They were like, Sarah, why, what, we don't understand. But I couldn't even sign on my workstation. It was just I was really depressed. I seriously thought I was not cut out to be a leader. But then that next spring, I got some encouragement when I was contacted from home office to present at World Tour in Lubbock. I was really reluctant. I talked to a lot of people about it. Why would they want a failure like me to talk to anybody or give anybody advice is kind of where I was in my head. And it took me a long time to respond, but I got some encouragement from some Cincy sisters and from my director, and I went for it. I went for it. I said, yes, I will present. And when I was there, something happened, and I got a few minutes to myself to talk with Chuck Thompson, because he was our world tour guest, and he asked me how things were going, and I was straight up honest with him. I wanted to quit. I said, Chuck, I can't do this. I wanted to quit. But he gave me the best piece of advice that I could have ever heard that day, and I won't ever forget it. He told me, Sarah, sometimes it's not about your leadership, but it's about other people's followship. Wow. I mean, I really had to let that sink in. Maybe it wasn't me. Maybe I was still doing everything that I could, and I'm a leader, but I didn't have those people that were willing to work themselves and do their own businesses. I just repeated that to myself over and over and over again all day long. It's not about my leadership, but other people's followship. And so I had an 1.5 hour drive that day, and I went home and I didn't want to sulk anymore. I made a plan, and I wanted to grow, and I wanted to rebuild. I wouldn't be afraid anymore to share my passion. I made it my mission to grow my team with like-minded people, leaders, not just the people that I thought maybe needed help, or maybe they need income help, or maybe they are bored, or maybe, I got that out of my head, and I started asking everybody. I started asking all of my friends that I thought were strong leaders and would really run with a business, like-minded people like myself. That season, since I asked everybody and I shared my passion everywhere I went, I branded myself. I was on social media all the time. I was sharing what I was using. I was sharing what I was doing. And people saw me happy and sharing and putting myself out there, people soak that in. When they see a positive aspect in somebody, they tend to gather towards you. So when you're positive, other people around you are positive. That season, I added 17 direct team members. It was the highest number of recruits in my whole SSD group of over 2,500 consultants. And after that, my direct team members started growing their teams. And that next holiday season, we had a team of 75. I was blown away. I mean, I was setting goals for us to hit 100. It was amazing. And over time I'm still in that same range. I haven't, I've lost a few, I've gained a few. But because I didn't let that fear drive me, and I didn't let panic set in, I overcame my obstacle by mentally getting out of my head, by changing my mindset and going to something positive. I wasn't going to be a quitter. So here I am now in my 9th year as a Scentsy consultant. And this last January, I finally earned 6-month director consistency. So dreams do come true, you guys. You can do it, and all you have to do is get out of your own head. You've got to make a mental, conscious effort to be positive and to have a growth mindset. Let's talk a little bit about what you do when you're faced with a fear. Do you fear up? Do you let that panic set in and quit? I know I almost did, but we're not going to do that anymore. Okay? Nobody's going to do that. Do you tear up? That is me. Okay? So I tear up. But a lot of people try to suppress tears. They see tears as a sign of weakness. But did you know that crying actually has scientific effects on our bodies? I had to Google this, so bear with me. I'm going to read these aspects. Crying actually has a soothing effect. That's why babies cry. So crying can actually be soothing to you. It relieves pain. When you hurt, you cry. It releases toxins. It relieves stress. That's why a lot of people cry when they're stressed. It also aids in sleep. which I'm kind of thinking I might need to cry a little bit more because I don't get a lot of sleep in my house with babies. So maybe I should cry more. I'll get sleep more. But it also fights bacteria. And it also can improve your vision. So basically, crying can help you see better. After a good cry, how do you feel? How does what is that vision and that clarity that comes to you after the waterworks? When I challenge you, if you tear up and you're an emotional person, after those waterworks, after you cry, and you feel that sense of relief and clarity, write it down. Write down what you're feeling, write down your emotions, make your plan, because that is when you're going to be the most vulnerable in your mindset. Write down what your clarity. Write down your goals at that very moment. There's always a vision after those waterworks. Okay, it will help you in the development of your goals at that moment. So what do you do after you have a good cry? It's time to gear up, right? We all have to gear up. Make that plan for what you need to do. Make a solid goal. Okay, gather those tools and all of the resources that you need. What do you need to do monthly? What do you need to do weekly? What do you need to do hourly, daily, hourly? Sometimes even break it down into minutes. I sometimes break it down into minutes in my day because I'm so busy sometimes with all of my 4 kids that I literally set a timer and I said, okay, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes. I'm going to work my Scentsy business. And I sit down and I make those follow-ups, or I check in with my team members, or I make that social media post, or I check in on my workstation in the news tab. I do an income producing activity for 10 minutes. And you will be amazed at what you can do in 10 minutes. Okay? So set a timer if you have to. Take it one step at a time, baby steps. Okay? You cannot, if you try to take it all in at once, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to want to do it. So baby steps. Break it down. Break your goals down. There's something that my dad taught me as a kid, and he said it to us all of our lives, and it's stuck with me, and it's something that I use not only in my business but in my personal life also. He said to me, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Should I say it again real slow for you? It's kind of a tongue twister. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. It's true though. You got to make those changes. Okay? So if you find yourself afraid of what's going on in your business, make a change. If you don't like where it is, you've got to do something different. You will never, ever, ever get a different outcome if you keep doing the same thing. So make those changes in your business and don't let fear guide you, because nothing is ever going to change. So we did an activity at this point, and I let people talk about their fears, and we had some really great people. Some people were afraid of, their fear was public speaking, so they stood up and they spoke in front of everybody. They legit stood up and said, my fear is what I'm doing right now. And we had so much support and so much love shared in the room that day. And I am still so impacted by all of you. After the sharing, I shared, I'm going to share with you guys 4 things that can help you overcome your fears, or that I use to overcome my fears. So the first one is become more aware of your thoughts. Thoughts produce emotions. So if you want to change how you feel, change your thoughts. Number 2, choose more positive thoughts. You cannot rid yourself of a negative thought just simply by not thinking them. The law of replacement states that you cannot replace something with nothing. Okay? You have to replace it with something positive. So when you notice yourself experiencing those negative fear-producing thoughts, replace it with a positive thought. Use positive affirmations. Affirmations are powerful statements that describe a reality that you want. Utilize those daily affirmations. I mean, in the mornings, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you're awake. God gave you another day. you have 4 children who love you, and you are a badass, okay? So I tell myself that every morning, that I can go and achieve my day, all right? Those positive affirmations will help you in your growth mindset. And I'm telling you what, they are a powerful antidote to fear, okay? Also, celebrate your successes. You have overcome countless fears already in your life since a child, whether it was getting on and learning to ride a bike, or as a teen driving a car, or even as an adult taking the risk to even join this business was a fear that you overcame, okay? So opening yourself up to new experiences is always a little scary. But when you face your fears and take action, you build up the confidence in your abilities, and you will just continue to go up and up and up. Be proud of yourself. Always be proud of yourself. You deserve everything that you have, okay? Never, ever, ever doubt yourself, okay? Because you can achieve great things. Every successful person I know has been willing to take that leap of faith because they knew if they didn't, the opportunity would pass them by. Don't let those opportunities pass you by, okay? Don't let fear drive you. Take that leap of faith. All right, guys. So I want you to take an acronym. I want you to take at least 2 aspects of the CLIMB acronym that's going to impact your business the most. Okay. I will challenge myself to, or you can do all of them if you want to, but at least pick 2. Okay. So I will challenge myself to. I will learn how to. I will influence by. I need to magnify this. I believe I can do this because. Okay? I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you've enjoyed my talk. Please feel free to add me and talk to me, or shoot me a message if you want to. I'm always willing to talk. But, you know, I always love new friends. So, but you guys go and climb those mountains and achieve great things. You can do hard things, sisters and misters. I'm proud of you guys always. So, Cincy love, and I will talk to you guys later.